Good morning and welcome. This is Dr. Reverend Anthusa Helena of Soul Light Integrative Medicine. For more details about private sessions and programs, and to upload your free gift, log on to soullight.com. That's SOLLITE.com. Thank you. Now, today we are continuing our Hope and Inspiration interview series. I have a very special guest that I've known for a very long time and highly regard him as a teacher, a colleague, a friend, and a man of many skills and talents. He is with or co-founder, developer, founder of the AngelNews Network. I encourage you to log on and check that out. There's a wealth of information there. And his name is Phillip Collins. Our subject topic today is what is love? Welcome, Phillip. Is there something you want to add to the introduction I just gave you?
No, not really. My background was motion film. I was director of marketing of George Lucas's Empire, and film director Ridley Scott and I were partnership in film activities in America and England. His new film out now is about the Gucci family, which is getting quite a stir right now. Ridley's in his mid to late 80s and he's still going very, very strong. So I have combined that world with alternative medicine. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and a Reiki master teacher. So I've combined the business world, if you will, the film world with the metaphysical world. When we talk about love, I think one of the most difficult things about it is to really understand that the foundation of everything is that there are unseen forces that our natural science cannot connect or believe with often to really understand, which are, in effect, ruling creation. So when we talk about something called love, what is love? It is a frequency, it is a consciousness, it is a vibration, it is the building block of everything. And Anthus and I have worked with this reality for a long, long time. What's happening now in this particular month of August, or many are aware that some very powerful energies are coming in that are supporting the truth of us being love, learning to master love through who we are while we're here and bring our talents and gifts out into the world. So we're all in the process of these new energies coming in and releasing old habits, patterns, and rituals that no longer serve us through following our resonance and discernment. Does that help?
Well, yes, that was a lot. Yes, it's very helpful. And I know, I do the same thing, meaning that I have a lot of medical and scientific background information and combining it with the metaphysical realm. And being a ordained minister, there's confusion, I believe, even with the word God and the word love, because mostly, in my opinion, many people hold different ideologies or projections of either of those words. Love, right now, being the topic, I wanted to recall, if I'm saying it correctly, because I know you've channeled many books of various dimensional realms. And there was a statement, I may be paraphrasing, that coming to this planet Earth was, did you quote it as a love university, or am I saying that incorrectly?
Yeah, it's a lover university. I mean, the whole mission of the planet, which came together in 12 star systems, seeding it and bringing their awareness and consciousness into it, is to teach us and remind us that love is the foundation of everything and that we are learning to master it. So in effect, we are love. we are God. We are the universe. We are all these things ourselves. And I think that is what is difficult for most people to receive.
Yes, and then there's because I attempt also to bring in with the scientific and medical information that has been my lifetime's work to to combine, the love and the word God. So this is where it can get confusing even to me. Are you saying God is love?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And what we're in the process of doing is in humanity and being human is we're releasing our attachments to all the things in this dense frequency we live in. And we live in the densest frequency in the universal plane, which do not demonstrate or does not have the ability to receive love. So once we know that God is love and that we are love, rediscovering it, remembering that, and learning how to apply it. That's been the challenge for humanity. With all these new energies coming into this time, it's waking us up to bring our soul plan, our reason to be here, out here, by knowing who we are, by knowing why we're here through this, and putting aside any clouds over all of that, which is preventing all of us to be loved and to know that we are an expression of God itself.
Oh, yes, and I agree with that. No, in particular, bringing it back, I'm known to be an expert in trauma, especially um, persons that have had trauma from sexual abuse. And for some reason, I've attracted a lot of clientele throughout my um, 45 years of being a professional, and also had that experience myself as a young child, which is explained in a book that I co-authored called "While We Are Silent," which can be found on Amazon.com and through Helena as author page. So I know my own challenges and difficulties. It was for me having the abuse as a child because personally I related through many years that love equaled abuse because that's what I experienced. So, to have that turn around in your life and really, now realizing that love and God are the same. And of course, I am an image and likeness of God, if not God itself, experiencing itself through me in a human experience. Now, I just said a lot. I hope I didn't confuse you or the audience, but do do you have anything to say about that? Because it's like healing those old wounds and conditions and belief systems to really ultimately know love in its purest truth. So,
I think the hardest part of that when I had a clinical practice as a metaphysical therapist in New York City for 25 years, I think the hardest part is for people to take responsibility for what is happening and realizing what is happening is, in a way that we have all chosen to learn. If you're being sexually abused as a young child, that is difficult to understand. But in reality, the only way to heal it and to escape from the abuses is to know on some level through self-empowerment, we have chosen this as a learning tool. It's how we create our own reality. And that's very, very difficult for a lot of people because they say, well, why would I do that? I mean, why would I set that up? Because the soul sets it up as the only way to really master the learning process. So it's all about taking responsibility. There's a cosmic equation: responsibility equals consequence. When we're not taking responsibility or things are happening in our life, we often create a consequence not to our liking. But when we do take responsibility through the consequence, then there's more of a consequence to our liking. And this is very difficult and challenging for most people.
Oh, yes, and I'll put myself in that category. It was uh, very challenging to take that kind of an understanding and accept it as a truth or an understanding, and then owning that responsibility, as you said. And I always, before I take on or help a new client, and I have a free consultation with them beforehand, if they're not willing to really be be honest with looking at the situation from a higher realm, like you said, the soul being a higher plane and a higher realm, and also to go inside to realize that the work is actually done from inside out, and it is an inner journey. And I really lose a lot of people from that first free consultation because either they don't understand what I'm talking about, or it's not an easy journey. I tell them that to go inside and to have total self honest inquiry, and to see that your inner world is actually reflecting your outer world. So, I just know that this is part of my soul's plan, and this is why I continue to do this work.
And
And,
we,
you know,
that's not that we teach what we need to master ourselves. And the trick within all of this, as we are doing the deep self-examination, is not to shame or blame or judge it or to condemn it, but to see it as that process. And that's what's really vital.
I agree. And you helped me a lot. I know there were years, I met you in 2010. Um, and we did a lot of work together. And, there were times I would leave your office and go, why is he asking me the same question over and over and over again? And, but I was persistent, and I knew you were coming from love with me, and I trusted you. And it really did propel me forward. So, yeah, I encourage others to want to take that leap as well.
We're all in the process of opening our hearts to receive love by knowing we are being loved. This is who we really are. And if we can begin to accept that, we all have inner child, what's called inner child wounds and ego defenses, and there are 5 primary ones around those wounds. And what those defenses often do not allow is for us to receive love.
Oh,
They
yeah.
block it out by not really understanding how what looked like a lack of love in the past has allowed us to be who we are now.
Oh, yes.
So it's all about just being able to heal those defenses around the wounds in order to fully receive love. Most of us, I think, are going about throughout the day with some type of barrier around us or some type of suspicion of not allowing it in. And I think that is the fundamental cause and effect that's really going on in humanity. We're all in a personal process of discovering ourselves and learning about love as long as we're in this dense frequency. And until we ascend and evolve out of it, we are going to be in that personal process. For those of us who choose the deep, often challenging examination of the self, for those that don't do that, then none of this makes any sense.
Well, I agree 100%. I know there's, in normal, or let's just say, you know, different various ideas of what love is. Like, I would assume everybody that's listening has had the experience of romantic love, and that infatuation that comes initially, and then after, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, a year, then it's like, where did that go? Where did that feeling go? But we're talking about a different type of love, are we not?
We're talking about a cosmic universal love which is a form of energy that creates a consciousness that allows manifestation. Romantic human relationship love is a very small aspect of what the cosmic universal reality of the energy and consciousness that love truly is.
It is. It's a very small portion, isn't it? But it can propel us if we choose to utilize it that way in a relationship. Do you agree?
Yeah, it can allow it to be the most successful relationship you've ever had if you understand what it really is. And it's not about our sexual activities or our genders or our sexual preferences or whatever that might be. But yes, if we wake up through something called individuated consciousness going into collective consciousness and really understand truly what love is. And when we're in relationship, that is an aspect of it, not all of it, but an aspect of it, you really have the chance to have the most meaningful relationships of your life.
So utilizing that relationship as a mirror, like the mirroring theory, that the other person that seemingly is other or outside of yourself, um, that in my experience can trigger some of those old wounded inner child experiences. And if able to see it in that perspective, then to be able to work through it together, or usually yourself, but the help of the other, I think, is useful as well. Do you agree?
Sure. I mean, we're all part of the oneness. Okay, realizing we're diversified versions of one another, or each other in disguise from the same source, from the same oneness. And if we can look at another person who may racially or sexually or culturally or religiously or even politically look entirely different and say to ourselves, that person is a version of me, a diversified version of me, with another mask on them that looks different from me. But behind all this, we're all from the same source. If we can master that, then we're going to begin to separate the duality and the separation and the conflict that we have all over our planet.
Yeah, we have great opportunities right now. As you said, the energies are pretty high for this to happen in just our worldly situation. Like even your neighbor, it doesn't have to be someone you're, attracted to or having romantic infatuation kind of frequency love, but to utilize everyday occurrences, going to the grocery store, or driving in your car and somebody upsets you when you're driving, to utilize that opportunity to actually find the oneness and the love underneath or behind it all. Is that kind of what you're saying?
That is what I'm saying. The whole ascension process of humanity, along with the planet, moving into a higher frequency of existence, the whole avenue of that process is achieved through the healed self, is achieved through knowing that we are love, knowing that this planet was created to master being love. That will be what will propel us forward, yes.
Well, do you have any I don't know. I know you've said a lot, and I'm not saying that what you have already given or relayed isn't helpful, but kind of like, everyday person, is there something we could express better to them?
It's time to shine our uniqueness to one another.
Yes.
To allow our beingness to determine our doingness, that our loveness to determine things that we do in a loving way. And of course, all of that is done through a healed relationship with self. It's the most simplified way we can describe it. To say and to begin to understand beyond just the words themselves that the planet was created for us to master being love. That forces came together in creation to create this planet in order for us to allow to do this. And this is an experiment. This is a wonderful experiment. And all of this will be done through something called creating collective consciousness. Right now, it is vital that the feminine energy balance with the patriarchal masculine energy. It's time for the women of the world to stand up and demand and command equality. And so that the two forces, again, male and female energies are beyond our sexuality and our gender. They're also forces like they're representative forces of love itself, the assertive masculine energy, the receptive feminine energy that come together, male and female on this planet. But they're vital energies that have to go in balance to power this whole process of called ascension, of called accepting our being love. All this is fundamental at this time, and these new energies coming in are here to support that. Whether you believe they exist or not, they are here.
So the male and female energies are within all of us, combined within all of us. And are you saying that those are out of balance within ourselves? That the female is energy is more nurturing and loving, where the male energy is more of a doer or protector? Is that sort of what you're saying?
Good words. Think of the male energy as being an assertive energy and the female being a receptive energy. And these are energies that come together to create something else by combining them. The basis and phase of all of the separation, the duality and the conflict on this planet, in my opinion, is a result of the imbalance, the masculine and feminine energies. The toxic masculine energy trying to control the feminine. Right now, this whole idea of that the masculine energy can tell the feminine energy when you can reproduce and when you can't. But in reality, it's none of their business. They're trying to control something that they didn't create. And we can't control things that we didn't create. It is time to stop telling people what they should and shouldn't do, and allow them to know that within them there is a pathway, something called resonance, how you feel about it, something called discernment, how you think about it. And when you put the resonance and discernment together, it will give you your individuated path forward. And it's time that we acknowledge that we all have this and allow people to express it.
Wow. Well, I agree with you. I don't know how we, like how can, like, someone that possibly isn't understanding what we're talking about kind of start to acknowledge that they have these energies within themselves, and take a step forward to bring some balance into that, like you said, resonance and discernment. Is, I don't like to give up on people that maybe don't understand what we're talking about.
It's all about waking up.
Okay.
You can't. If people are asleep, you're not going to be able to help them. They're going to have to determine a timeline of when they're going to be able to help themselves. Who we're really addressing now are not the people who are asleep. Who we're addressing now are the people who are awake or in the process of waking up through something called consciousness. That's an individuated consciousness when we finally wake up as an individuated person. Then, when we interface with other people like you and I are now, or with our audience, that becomes a collective consciousness, and that collective consciousness can affect the change that we're saying we want. And that's equality, harmony, balance, and the balance of the masculine and feminine energy returning to the love force and source that we all came from.
All right. Yes, I understand that. Yes. So, so it is really a process of waking up. And I want to reiterate and to just double check with you that it really is our divine soul plan, which apparently we kind of orchestrated that plan before we actually landed in a human form.
Everyone will eventually wake up as a part of their soul plan. It's just a matter of when.
Okay.
People like you and I who teach this and attempt to be it ourselves, remembering we're all teaching what we need to learn, have to accept some people in our personal life, in our families, in our close friends are never going to get this. They're not going to wake up, possibly, as long as we know them, or possibly in their entire lifetime. So they may need another lifetime to really do that. But the planet is in a process of ascension, moving into another light body, becoming a star, if you will. All the human beings on the surface of the planet, the interior of the planet, are in the process of ascending to those higher frequencies in concert with the planet. And for those who do not choose that in this lifetime or the next lifetime, they'll be given opportunities elsewhere to do that.
Okay.
But in the meantime, who we're really addressing are those who are already awake or in the process of waking up.
Yes, thank you for clarifying that. I understand. And when you say those that may choose a different timing, it may be actually a different star or planet or just somewhere else in the cosmos.
Yeah, remember there are thousands of dimensions. There's trillions and billions of stars. There's trillions and billions of planets circling those stars. There's trillions and billions of galaxies containing all of that. So there's lots of opportunity.
Lots of places
to do it.
Yeah, lots of places to go. But I would like the planet Earth to, feel better about, and for all of us to treat Mother Earth better as well. So, that's just me.
Let's remember, the planet's going to ascend into a higher frequency of existence with or without humanity.
Okay.
So it's what each one of us choose. Do we want to be on that ride with the planet in this lifetime or the next one, or do we not? But the bottom line is creation's not going to give up on any one of us. We are divine expressions of creation itself. So it will happen. It's just a matter of when and where.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, our time is running out. Is there anything you would like to wrap up or say something about you? And what have you written, like 20 books or more?
Yeah, it's about 20 books. And then we have something come. This will really help people, I think. We have something on the AngelNews Network called Current Events Broadcasting. And what I do is I channel other frequencies, Archangel Uriel, Ascended Master Saint Germain, some of the inner earth beings, and some star realms. And then I'm interviewed by my colleague, Joel Anastasi, and we address the current events that are taking place in people's personal and professional lives, whether it's governmental, political, financial, religious, whatever it might be. And then we dialogue with those activities that are happening within the now, and these entities from the higher realms give their perspective, their higher realm, their 5D and beyond perspective. And I find that very helpful for people because we're dealing with topics that are in the news all the time, and these realms are here to assist us and support us and love us. We're here to give a perspective on it. So I'm very thankful that as a channel, I'm able to do those types of Q&As. And for those who don't believe that these exist, that will be an issue for them. But what I say to them is, don't worry about where the information is coming from. Worry about what's being said. And if you resonate with it, if you discern with it, apply it. If you don't, throw it out the proverbial window.
Yes. I say that too with my work, and I urge those that have been listening today as our viewers to log on to the Angel News Network, get on their mailing list, because every time there's a new podcast, like Phillip said, with the current events, it really is very helpful to read or listen to what the other dimensional realms are saying about our situation and events presently. I've found them very helpful, and happy to be a part of uh, the mailing list and friends of the Angel News Network. So I encourage.
I'd also like to add, Jeff Asano, who's also one of our partners in the AngelNews Network, who channels Archangel Michael, who's all about the personal process. We do a monthly Michael message, and Michael usually focuses on the process itself. And I encourage people to listen to those as well. The current events broadcast is really focusing on what do the higher realms have to say about current events. Michael is really taking what about this relationship with self and how's that in relationship to the outer world. So between the two, I think the AngelNews Network is really serving humanity in a very powerful way.
And I agree. And I also get a monthly or updates with the messages from Archangel Michael through Jeff Fasano. I love you three guys. Have always loved you. I know that we've had our encounters, but they've always been for the highest and best interest for me personally. And I love authentic people that after maybe something comes up and we process them, or I process them internally, that there's always an open heart to be there to speak to and receive whatever it is that comes from love and compassion. So I thank you for that. And I'm also a very blessed person throughout my journey, even though my soul's plan started at a very young age with abuse, that the Creator, God, love, always throughout my entire life has brought me the highest and best teachers in all the realms and modalities that I put forth in Soul Light Integrative Medicine. I didn't go out seeking them, they appeared. So when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And with that, I just want to thank Phillip Collins for bringing in his wisdom today and for being with us. And again, if you're interested in Soul Light Integrative Medicine, go to soullight.com, SOLLITE. Thank you, Phillip.
And remember, in closing, everything happens for a reason. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay, thank you. And have a great day to all the viewers out there. Thank you for listening.